Hello, my name is Danielle. This here is Buster. We're going to be going over some horse rules, instructions, everything we want you guys to know before we head out on the trail today. Once we're done with this, we will let you know the name of the horse that you're riding and we will get going. The very first part of riding a horse is going to be getting on. We do mount from the ground here, and some of these horses are pretty tall, so now's a good time to start limbering up and doing your stretches. And it is a policy of ours as well that anytime you're going to get on or off your horse, there needs to be a guide there with you. So even though you guys have ridden horses before, just wait till one of us is there before you hop on. What we'll have you do is grab the back of the saddle with your right hand, and then your left foot will go up into the stirrup. With your left hand, we're going to have you grab onto your horse's mane. We don't grab the saddle horn. If you grab the saddle horn, then when you go to step up, all of the weight is going to be just on the saddle, so it's going to pull it off to the side. That's going to pinch on his withers and his back. It doesn't feel very good. This does not hurt them, so even though it feels mean, I promise grabbing the hair is the nicer option. Once you are like this, we will put a hand under your knee and a shoulder under your bum and help give you a boost up if you need it. Once you're up on top of your horse, we're going to adjust your stirrups for you. You want to keep just the ball of your foot in that stirrup with your heels down and your toes up. That's going to help a lot with your balance and your posture. If you shove your foot in too far, one, you're going to run the risk of your foot getting stuck. Two, it kind of points your toes downward, which is going to put your whole balance forward. And then if your horse does trip, you're going to catch that saddle horn right in the chest, and it does not feel good. So heels down, toes up, sit up nice and tall. We are riding on these horses' backs, and we want to be good passengers today. So we'll hold ourselves up throughout the entire ride. If you slouch on them like you would if you were sitting in like a recliner on a couch, you can make their lower back sore. So we just want to be nice to our horses, hold ourselves up, make their jobs a little bit easier. All of these horses neck rein. So the reins are going to go out in front of you in just one hand, like you're giving a thumbs up or holding an ice cream cone with the reins coming out the top there. You want to keep a little bit of slack in your reins when your horse is going forward. So we say to look for like a gentle smile between your horse's mouth and your hand. If you have a straight line, you're going to be pulling on his mouth, which is telling him to slow down and stop. And that's confusing for him when he's trying to go forward and do his job. On the other end of the spectrum, if you hold super loose and you've got that big droop there, then when you go to ask your horse to do something, he's not going to feel you. So it's going to seem like he's not listening, but really he just doesn't know what you're asking. So we will help you find the correct rein length, but as a good rule of thumb, you want to look for just a small dip in the reins. When you want your horse to turn, you're going to put your reins out over his neck and pull where you want to go. So if you want to go to the right, you're going to pull right. And if you want to go to the left, you're going to pull left. Oh. Buster's a big boy and small turns are hard for him. If you want your horse to stop, you're going to pull straight back to your belly button and then release. If you keep pulling back after he's come to a stop, that is his cue to back up. So if your horse is ever going backwards, all you need to do is put your hand forward and they will stop going in reverse. You can tell he doesn't really love it, so they're happy to stop. To make your horse go forward, you're going to have to use your legs. So our horses will respond to kicks. So if you want him to move, you're going to take both feet same time, legs out and in, and kick until he goes. Some horses will take one kick. Some horses will take 10 kicks. You'll figure that out once you get up there. But don't be afraid to get after them. Keep in mind that these horses are upwards of 1,000 pounds. They kick each other. They wear metal shoes. You won't hurt them by kicking him when you're up here. So don't be afraid to get after him, especially when he tries to eat. I guarantee that your horse is going to try to eat on the trail. They're grazing animals. That's all they want to do. However, we don't let our horses eat while they're working for a few reasons. One is because they're working, and eating while they're supposed to be moving is just a bad habit. Two, there are some plants out there that can make these guys sick, so we just make it easy and say they aren't allowed to eat anything at all. Three, we are riding through national forests, so we want to make sure that we are preserving the vegetation and not destroying it by letting them eat all of it. So when your horse does try to eat, you will stop him by putting your reins over his neck and then doing quick, hard pops straight up on his mouth as many times as it takes until he lifts his head. You guys will do it much harder than I just did. Buster's being good, so I don't have any reason to pop him in the mouth, but if he's out there trying to eat, you better believe I'm gonna pop him, okay? If you get him good the first couple times, he will understand that you're not gonna let him get away with it and he won't try so hard. But if you think you're doing him a favor by letting him grab a couple snacks, you're not. He's just gonna think you're a sucker, and then he's gonna eventually stop walking and just stand there and eat and make it much harder on you. So don't be afraid to get after him right away. Other things we want to keep an eye out for on the trail is going to be any changes in terrain like hills. If we go up a hill, we're going to lean forward. If we go down a hill, we're going to lean back. We aren't going over anything super crazy, so we don't need to be doing like Man from Snowy River all the way back here, but a little bit does help a lot. So keep that in mind anytime the terrain changes. Another thing you want to watch is the position of your saddle horn. This should be in a straight line between your belly button and your horse's neck. If it is ever leaning off to the side over here and it's pointed more towards his ear, we got to fix that right away. You can do that yourself by grabbing the saddle horn with both hands, and then you're going to kind of jump and tug and pull that saddle back over towards the center with you. But if you cannot do that, or you don't feel comfortable, or you're just not sure, just let one of your guides know and they will hop off and fix it for you. Likewise, if you notice somebody else starts to look crooked, let them know because they may not feel it. But we want to make sure everyone stays on their horses' backs today and nobody rolls all the way underneath. So help us help you. Other things we'll watch out for on the trail are going to be wildlife. We do see occasionally bears and deer and foxes and other things out on the trail. We do also share these trails with other people, so we might see hikers, we might see bicyclists, things like that. These horses are very well trained. They have seen all those things before, but they are still horses. So just keep that in mind. We always want to make sure we have our reins in our hand and ready in case our horse sees something that they're not sure about and they either go forward quickly or kind of jump to the side. You want to have your hand on your reins so that you can stop him and steer him and tell him what to do. That is the reason why we ask you guys not to use your cell phones during the ride, so we can make sure we're not doing any distracted driving. We will definitely take pictures of you guys here before you head out. We can get group pictures, individuals, all the things. We want you guys to have the memories. We just want you to be safe when you're on top of your horse. Along the same lines, with this weather today, if you guys need to take off jackets or put jackets on during the ride, please let your wranglers know first, because doing that usually does require you to drop your reins and then you're flapping something open. Horses don't usually love that. So if you flap your jacket open and you don't have a hold of your reins and your horse goes forward, you're just going to be along for the ride. So we just want to make sure that somebody can be holding onto your horse for you. And then we will tie any loose clothing or unworn clothing onto the back of your saddle with these saddle strings here. So nothing's like tied around your waist and flapping behind you like a cape or anything like that. As far as potty breaks, we'll be riding for about 2 hours today. We won't be taking any breaks throughout the ride to go to the bathroom for people, so hopefully everybody went or can hold it. The horses, however, will go whenever they want. They can poop while they walk. We don't really have to worry about that, but they do have to stop to pee. So if your horse stops moving out on the trail, he's not going forward no matter how many times you kick him, and then you hear what sounds like a waterfall underneath you, I want you guys to do a couple things. The first is going to be to yell, "Potty break!" or code yellow, or Buster is peeing, just something so that we know your horse is doing his business. The other thing I want you to do if he's going to the bathroom is stand up in your stirrups. That's going to take the weight off his back where his kidneys are, makes it a little more comfortable, easier for him to go. When he's done, you can just sit back down gently and he'll keep moving forward. The reason we want to let our wranglers know if our horse is taking care of business is because horses are herd animals. They like to stick together. If your horse gets left behind because he's going potty, then when he's done, he's going to want to run to catch up to his buddies. We are a walk-only ride. We don't want these guys to go any faster than that. So if he does ever try, either because there's a big gap or because you come to a hill and he just wants to go up it, just remember to use your reins, pull back till he slows down, release when he's going the correct speed. The ideal spacing between horses is going to be about 3 to 5 feet. So if you look between your horse's ears, you should be able to see the back feet of the horse in front of you. That way, some of these guys like some personal space. I think everybody does. So we want to give them that. We just don't want to fall too far behind, more than 5 feet. Any questions or anything you guys want to see again? Other things to take note, I haven't seen any of these things, but no bear spray, no alcohol, no smoking, no vaping, nothing like that on the ride. At the cookout site, you guys are allowed to drink if you brought it. Yes, sir. Great question. If we run into a bear, they usually do not charge us. If we run into a bear, we usually just keep moving on. We make some noise so that we don't startle him, and then we go about our merry way. Bears usually really don't charge horses, so we don't have to worry about that. That's a good question though. Excellent. So the last thing I'll show you guys is how we get down. It's going to look very similar to getting on, just in reverse. So at the end of your ride, again, just wait till the wrangler is there before you climb down, and then we'll have you drop the reins on his neck. You're going to grab mane with your left hand, swing that right leg around behind you, and then grab onto the back of the saddle as you step all the way back down to the ground.